Continuing to build Hogwarts Castle. Right here on the table you see the foundations of the second part of the castle. We have constructed the rocks. On the other side, which you can't see right now, are a number of basements. There's a potions room, there is the wizard chess room, there is the room with the mirror of Erised that we know from the first book and the first movie, of course, the final confrontation between Harry Potter, or at least the first confrontation, the final one in that movie between Voldemort and Harry Potter. Today we're going to build on top of this part of the castle. And I don't know how far we will get. This looks like a fairly easy build in the sense that we've done most of the technical parts right now. So we're going to build up the rooms. If we have some extra time, then I may actually include a second step and we may build even more. So welcome in the chat, and as always I can read your comments, I can answer them. So let's have a chat. Today was an epic day, of course, because it was a day on which I finally watched Avengers Endgame. And I don't want to talk too much about it here because, because of spoilers. But if you want to see my spoiler-free reaction, then I invite you to check out my YouTube channel. And you can see a pretty long spoiler-free first reaction, which was recorded about half an hour after I'd seen the movie. So it's really straight out of the theater. I went to the studio to record it. Which reminds me, something I haven't done on previous days, but when I'm streaming this on YouTube, actually a lot of my Facebook followers only discover that I had been streaming after the fact. And I do have a couple of thousand people following me on Facebook, so I may actually walk over to my PC and post a little note that I'm live. So bear with me. In the meantime, you can inspect all these things. By the way, I've already done the stickers. So I'll be back in a sec. Wait a minute, actually. How does that work? Videos? Not even sure how that works. Can I share that somewhere? Yes, I can. There we go. And we'll just hop on to Facebook right here. There we go. Oh, actually, let me post that on Twitter as well. While we're at it, TweetDeck. Sorry about the interruption. Here we are again. In the meantime, people are starting to come into the chat room, so good evening or good morning, depending on where you are. We've got some people from the Space Coast of Florida. It's definitely not evening there right now. And so introduce yourself and let me know where you're watching from. Meme ASMR. Oh my gosh, hi. Fixed Matrix says, I watched your Avengers Endgame review. Do you think it's better than Infinity War or not? Hi, Mike. That is a good question. I really liked the payoff, but it all depends on what you expect and what you like to see. Of course, there was a ton of action in Infinity War, whereas this movie is more focused on character development and emotional payoff. There is action, there is a lot of epic action, but it's not the primary concern of the movie. It needs to wrap up the personal stories that we've seen. And in that respect, I think it's much better than almost any other Avengers movie that we've seen so far. Because it's, I don't know, it works on an emotional level much more than on just entertainment level. So that would be my thing. But it's really hard to compare it. So I'd say it is, for me it was the best because it was wrapping up the 10-year story arc. And there's something very cool about that. But as a Catholic, of course, I'm always thinking in and. It's not either or, it's always and. So I like Infinity War for what it is. I like Endgame for what it is. Comical wants to know which country I live in. You are connected to the Netherlands, Holland. What's your favorite Marvel superhero or villain? It's always kind of hard to answer those questions. I like Spider-Man a lot. I'm a huge fan of any of the crew of the Guardians of the Galaxy. I'd say after seeing this movie, Thor is my favorite, which is actually the character that at first I hated the most. Now I like him the most. He's the funniest, he's the best. All right. Stalwart is watching from the UK. Kyoto is going to see it in 3D. I watched it in 2D. And it was great. I can also imagine that it is also very worth seeing in 3D. Because it's got some awesome scenes, sequences that I think would probably work really well in 3D. The thing is, I have to pay extra for 3D. I might check it out in 3D. Poilux is in France, and Jacques is in Michigan. Very good. And Archie is from Poland. We've got Austria. What time is it for us? It's 9:45 p.m. All right, this is going to be one of those steps with lots and lots of tiny little pieces, and so many things that can go wrong. Oops, there you go, already small parts, and some of them are circular, so they easily roll off the desk here. We're first going to build some of those torches that we've built before. Let's see, 2. And 1 of these. Okay. Right, let's build 4 torches first. So all in all, I was super happy with the way they ended the saga. And it's one of those movies that you can watch several times without getting bored. Of course, the only downside of this movie is it is long. It is 3 hours, so I made sure I didn't drink anything before entering the theater because we have no intermission. And And even then, towards the end, I was like, okay, I gotta go. What is the biggest build that I have attempted? This is the biggest build. I've never built anything in Lego this big. Whoa, there you go. That's what happens. Tiny pieces, they fall off the table. There we go. Thor has an interesting mythology, but even better, he's got the best jokes. I really would like to be able to talk about the movie, because there are so many things that are great to talk about, but I'll wait. I don't want to spoil anything for anyone, so we'll just have to be patient. I may actually, over time, you see I haven't been paying attention. I've been messing up these little torches. This is so easy. I'm still doing that wrong because I get distracted. Marguerite wants to know, when was the first time that you saw a Star Wars episode? Well, believe it or not, I saw A New Hope in theaters when it came out. That's how old I am. So that was actually my second movie. My first movie ever was Jesus Christ Superstar. And the second movie was Star Wars. So I guess my fate was sealed back then. Would you rather be a Dalek or a Stormtrooper? What kind of question is that? Well, I aspire to become a member of the Wait, what? Hold on. Something weird here. Of the 501st Legion, so I guess Stormtrooper would be the right thing. Now the design, the drawing is not correct, I think. Oh well. There we go. Sometimes the instructions are little bit hard to decipher, because they only show you one angle, and it's in 2D, whereas I'm looking at the build in 3D. But I guess the puzzle is part of the process, part of the fun. Okay. I don't need this one. And get some stones. There we go. I apologize in advance if I don't answer all the questions, because the chat is going faster and faster every day. Have you ever got the Death Star set? No. It's a nice set, but it's kind of bulky, and I wouldn't have room for it. Augusto wants to know how old I am. I was born in 1968, so I'm a dinosaur. Archie, you don't like the new Disney Star Wars? I think it's fine. Meme feels bad because he used to believe in God, but now he's not just sure. He's not so sure anymore. Well, you know what? Doubt is totally, perfectly acceptable. Faith is not about knowing for sure. It's a love story. It's about trust. And in any relationships, there are times that you're very much on fire and sure of everything, and then there are moments of doubt and difficulty. It's part of any relationship. Who's your favorite character in Star Wars? Oh, wow. Well, Luke Skywalker, I guess. Princess Leia. Who doesn't love Leia? But I'm also a fan of Rey, and her journey is very compelling as well. But it's hard to pick favorites when you feel it's like a family to you. This is not the Mass Castle. No. This is Harry Potter. This is Hogwarts Castle. What religion are you? Asks Hurricane. I am a Catholic, a Roman Catholic priest. And I've been for quite a while now. But I'm also, as you can see, as you can tell, I'm also a geek. Actually, I was a geek before I became a priest. All right. We're going to build one of those tower thingies again. Apparently, I feel that we've built this before. This exact thing. Or almost exactly the same. It just requires a bit of attention because if I miss a step, then I need to disassemble the entire thing again, which has happened quite a few times. This one here. 2 blue ones. But don't we live in exciting times that we get to see franchises like the Avengers and Star Wars and Star Trek? It's all so good. The quality is so amazing. Storytelling, everything. Okay. Oh yeah, we definitely built something like this before. Okay, like this, and then, whoops, what is that? Okay, that one right there, and then this window is a little bit more retracted. There we go. Now I assume we do the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's so many pieces in this step. Okay. There we go. We're getting there. Hola, Oscar. Todo bien? Todo bien? ¿Cómo está? Am I a Lego fan? Yeah, I am a Lego fan. I look young. Yeah, I get that. I guess it's my Chinese genes. Is English your first language or is it Dutch? No, Dutch is my first language. I learned English in high school at the age of 12, or from the age of 12. And then I just watched a lot of movies and did 12 years of podcasting in English. So you do tend to learn a few words when you're doing that. There are days that I actually speak more English than Dutch. Okay, what color is that? It must be red. There we go, it's red. Have you been to Universal Studios in Florida? Yes. Yes, I have. That was magical. I went there a long time ago, more than 5 years ago, when the Harry Potter section had just opened. So I recently revisited Universal Studios not in real life, but on the Oculus Go. There's an app. It's called, I think, Wonder or Wanderer. And it taps into Google Maps, Street View. So I visited Universal Park and walked through the Harry Potter section, and I was stunned to see how big it had become. All right, so we've got this little tower, and we're going to add that to the, or put it behind the wall with the inscription that the Chamber of Secrets has been opened. So it is going to, this is exactly what I thought it would happen. It's going to build on top of this existing tower. So there we go. We're slowly moving upwards. Is my church Dutch? Yes, it is. Muy bien, Oscar. Poland is a Lego fun. Yeah, your zest for life is amazing. Do you have an Instagram account? Yes, I have lots of different accounts. Just look for Father Roderick. If you go Father Roderick on Twitter, on Insta, on Facebook. What else is there? YouTube, of course, obviously. Otherwise, you wouldn't be watching this. I used to do Snapchat a couple of years ago, but I kind of stopped with it, doing that, because Instagram had more or less the same functionality, and Snapchat was kind of a closed environment. And then here in the Netherlands, I do TV as well. I have a TV show, or documentaries basically, every week, which I produce myself. Well, with others, of course. Okay, let's see what is going on here. I'm gonna put everything together. This is always a bit tricky. Whoops, that's what I thought. Because you have to kind of tie everything together. Blue. And we've got two stones. One goes here. There we go. I always like it when we start to build walls, because we're moving upwards. I like that. How did you get to like Harry Potter? Bonsoir. Bonsoir la France. Soyez le très bienvenu. Does everyone speak English in the Netherlands? Most of the younger generation does, yes. In fact, if you go to Amsterdam, you'll hear more English than Dutch. How did I get to like Harry Potter? Well, actually, I completely missed out on Harry Potter when it was all the rage, because at the time I was working as a priest in a parish, and I was just way too busy. And then I was asked to study in Rome, and so I stayed in Rome for 2 years. And that's where I discovered Harry Potter. It was actually we were studying there with a number of priests, and one evening, one of those priests told me, "Hey, we're going to watch the Harry Potter movie." We found one of the movie theaters, because in Italy normally they dub everything in Italian, which is terrible. You don't want to watch Harry Potter dubbed in Italian. He said, we found this one theater, and they have a showing of the first Harry Potter movie. And I was like, okay, I have not read the books, but that's fine. And then he invited actually a whole bunch of other priests and even a religious brother. And they were all very much into Harry Potter. And I was sitting next to next to a guy in a habit, like a monk. And he was studying in Rome too. And he knew the book by heart. So he was constantly whispering in my ear, oh, watch it, what's going to happen now? And oh, I love how they did this. And so he's constantly comparing the movie with the book, which made for a very interesting first viewing. And then, of course, I was hooked. I wanted to know the rest of the story, since we still had to wait a few years for the next movie to come out. And so in Rome, I read all the available books, and not all of them had come out by then. And then I, wait, let me double check here if I'm doing the right thing. No, I'm missing something. 2 of these. And then I came back in the Netherlands. I was appointed here in my current parish, and I just kept reading and reading and reading, and kept enjoying the movies. So that's how that happened. ¿Cuántos idiomas habla padre? A number of them. we talked about that yesterday. Christoph says it's so sad that you don't have much subscribers. Oh, well, you got to start somewhere. You got to start somewhere. And really, for me, it's all about the relationships. I do this because I like to chat. And, whether you have... It's like my TV show, my show is aired in the afternoon, and so not too many people watch TV during the day. And so I put in the same amount of work, and I try to deliver the same quality as shows from my colleagues that are aired in the evening, and they will have like 10 times or more the amount of viewers. But for me, it is what it is, and I don't mind. I enjoy what I do. I love creating television programs. I love doing this, chatting and streaming, and yeah. I don't do it for success or, the amount of viewers. I would be constantly miserable if I wanted to, only do this for the income or for the viewers. Actually, if you've noticed, I have no monetization on my channel whatsoever because I don't need it. Okay. So for me, the reward is being able to do this and to connect with you guys. And if you enjoy this, and I can entertain you a little bit, or sometimes even help you with some advice or whatever, then that to me is why I do this. Venneke says, I heard from Protestant Christians that they were not allowed to read Harry Potter because of their parents. Is there such a great difference between Catholic and Protestant? No, actually, it's more a question of basically of knowledge. A lot of the resistance against Harry Potter in certain Protestant circles, and also some of the Catholic circles, is because of this fear of esoteric stuff, and they tend to, in my opinion, again, it's my opinion, they tend to underestimate, first of all, the books, the story itself, which has a lot of Christian underlying themes. It's not a story about magic. That's the big mistake that everyone makes that hasn't read the books. It's not about magic. Harry Potter is about friendship and about love and about self-sacrifice, just like the Bible, by the way. And so it actually says in the book, the greatest form of magic is love. And even the Dark Lord Voldemort cannot overcome that. And so that's what I always tell people, is it's a fairy tale. And so don't underestimate the story, and don't underestimate the readers. I mean, I've been reading fairy tales and stories all my life. I just watched Avengers Endgame. Do you think that I now believe that people can fly and that Iron Man really exists, and of course not. And the Tesseract is real. And so I'm always like, why are people so afraid? But I guess it's also easy to kind of turn culture into an enemy in order to feel that you're on the right side. You know, you're with the good guys, and the rest of the world is evil. So there's also a certain attitude towards the world, a certain negative view of society, of culture, and I just don't share that. And maybe that is Catholic. We tend to always look at the light and the truth in everything that surrounds us, because ultimately I believe that everything is coming from God, and God's love has an imprint on everything, and especially if we create things, creativity. I mean, the first thing that God does in the Bible is to create. He creates an entire world. He gave us imagination. He gave us the ability to tell stories and to come up with fairy tales. Why would that be evil? Now, of course, people can say nasty things, and I'm not naive. But it's like, what is your first attitude? Is it fear, and do you condemn things, or are you open and inquisitive, and are you willing to look for the positive and for what is right and what is true, and that transcends religion in a certain way? So there you go. Meme ASMR wants to know, I'm not sure if I am truly an atheist, but I don't really read my Bible. Should I read it more? Doesn't hurt, but faith is not just about knowing stuff or reading the Bible. It is a relationship. It's a relationship with God, between you and God, and there's nothing that can replace that. And then, of course, there is the community of friends that in my tradition we call the church, because it's not a solo endeavor. It's something you share and you celebrate together and you help each other, and that's of course the ideal. Whenever humans are involved, there is also lots of strife, lots of behavior that is unfitting is not corresponding to the ideal, but in essence, it's all about friendship. That's why, for me, it's so easy to switch between, let's say, my parishioners and you guys, and to preach on a pulpit or chat with you. For me, it's the same conversation. I'm just talking to my friends, right? Anyway. Beautiful Day Music. I like that screen name. The day is calling. It's a pleasure hanging out with you as well. Have a great day. And João Pedro Fonseca is from Brazil. Welcome in the chat. I love Brazil. I've only been there once, I have to be honest. But I loved it. Okay, we're going to build some walls, and I need to get this pillar here, and 2 of these. I sometimes miss Sean Connery. Actually, did you hear that tomorrow we're going to get the announcement of the next James Bond movie? Looking forward to it so much. Is it possible to believe in and follow a saint such as St. Francis, but not ascribe to Catholicism? Oh, sure. You can be inspired. I'm inspired by lots of people that are not Catholic. So, yeah, sure. All right. And now we're going to put in place some of the pillars of the hallway. This is starting to look really nice here. I'm sorry I can't show you because the camera is on the other side, which is an ongoing problem with these Lego builds. Maybe at one point I will create something better in terms of camera setup and lights. The lights are not very good here either. I changed a little bit of the lighting and also the white balance so it looks a little less gloomy. I hope that helps. But I'm just using a webcam, so it's a bit improvised, everything. All right, we've got the pillars in place. All right. Jamie says, it's amazing the level of patience you possess for building these beautiful pieces. Well, it is. Thankfully, I'm chatting with you guys, so that helps me get through it. Do we have the same... Do Catholics believe in Jesus? Oh, yeah, sure. I mean, after all, the Protestant churches and all the Christian denominations ultimately find their origin in the Catholic Church. And then you've got all these fissures in the 16th century, and then you get all the separations, but we have a common source. Archie says, you're the coolest father and I'm an atheist. Isn't it cool that geekdom can help us transcend our differences? I like that. I like that about Star Wars as well. And board games and Lego. Okay. We're making some quick progress here, if I'm correct. Today was a warm day in the Netherlands. I can tell the house is warm. I'm wearing my pullover, but it's actually too warm for that. Third one. Okay. Can't wait to show you what I'm building. Will Star Wars live up to the Avenger movie? That's a hard question. I asked myself that as well. I think the Avengers movie was so emotional and had so much impact. I'm talking about Endgame, because it's the end of a 10-year journey. And every year we would get to see the adventures of our friends. Sometimes multiple movies per year. Whereas with Star Wars, you of course, that is also 9 movies. The story arc of the Skywalkers is 9 movies, but there is way more space between the original trilogy, the prequels. So I'm not sure if it will have the same emotional impact. But let's not forget, J.J. Abrams is a very good storyteller. And there are lots of great people involved, I think. So who knows? Who knows? It is, in a certain way, Star Wars is more of a mythology than Avengers. So there is more depth to the story, even though I really liked this entire storyline of the Avengers. But it's kind of an adventure, and it's about the bad guy and Thanos and trying to destroy the universe, and then the heroes trying to save it. But for me, the attraction of Avengers is popcorn material. So it's fun, you get to laugh, it's exciting, there's some fighting. Star Wars, every time I rewatch a Star Wars movie, I get something else out of it. So, and that is because there is so much mythological material integrated into the Star Wars story. So, and in a way, Harry Potter has a lot of depth, and you can enjoy it at multiple levels. And that is less the case with Avengers. Avengers is just, you follow the story, you know how it ends. You may rewatch it just to kind of relive the excitement, but not really to discover new things. If only, perhaps some Easter eggs or something like that. But Star Wars, in that respect, is very different. I get something new out of it. The older I get, the more I think about Star Wars, the more I see the parallelism. Also, the way the story is told is the structure of the stories, the repeating themes, the mirroring of certain people and characters and decisions and situations. All that is very much what I think puts Star Wars on a different level, and may help its longevity I'm not sure that, let's say 20 years from now or 30 years from now, people will still rewatch the Avengers. Whereas I'm pretty sure that Star Wars will still be around and we will still be rewatching the existing movies. And I base that on the fact that that has been true so far. Okay, I need to apply a lot of force here and everything clicks into place. Good, good, good. Now, let me show you what I've done. I gotta be careful when I turn this around. So here we go. This is the hallway that I just built on top of the room with the wizard chess. And if you look in between those arches, those pillars, you can see the writing on the wall that says that the Chamber of Secrets has been opened. See another small door there, and well, that's about it. Oops. I was afraid of that. It's starting to come apart. Hold on. All right. There we go. Le gusta la musica disco. That was the music of my youth. I didn't particularly like it. Do you have any other book series that you would recommend? That's a good question, Justin. I'm in the process of reading a number of books. The biggest series that I'm currently reading is Wheel of Time. That is the biggest series that I've ever read. So Wheel of Time, I really like some of the Timothy Zahn books, the non-Star Wars books that he wrote. Gosh, there's just so much. Narnia is great, of course. Some of the Star Wars novels are cool. Hey, I'm missing a piece. Oh, here it is. And then 6 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I also kind of like some of these young adult novels, although they tend to kind of feel the same after you've read a couple of them. But I really enjoyed the Hunger Games series and Divergent and Maze Runner and all that sort of stuff. I'm very much into science fiction as well. I just don't have enough time to read. That's my only problem. When I have a day like this, like the entire morning was gone because I went to see Endgame. And then I get back home and I'm tired. And so I just never seem to have the time to read. When I do read, I usually have Alexa read to me. Because she can read the Kindle books that I bought. And I'll just play a video game or something like that, or Lord of the Rings online, while listening to those books. Alrighty. Meme is 14 years old. Not sure what grade that is in Holland, but I often hear swear words, and if I get angry and swear, I feel bad. Would you say I'm not a good person if I swear? Well, I guess that happens to all of us. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. Wait a minute. I forgot a step. It's just, I had to learn I kind of unlearn swear words. I come from the Rotterdam part of the country where swearing was very much something everybody did. Most of the time in English as well. And then I had nephews in the United States. And they were constantly talking about, the S word and the F word and the whatever word. I was like, what is that? What are you guys talking about? And I discovered that there's actually a huge taboo on swearing in the United States. It's a much more Puritan country than most of Europe. Same is true for television. I mean, you can show lots of violence on American television, but please don't say the S word or the F word. Or and then you look at, for instance, television in the UK, and it's full of swearing and stuff. And so I had to learn, like, substitute words, like shucks or crap on a crap cracker. Is that a thing in the United States? They had all these replacement words, or shoot. And then you had the when Battlestar Galactica came around, it was they constantly said frack, F-R-A-C or C-K. I'm not sure about that. It was like to avoid the censorship on television. It's very creative. But usually when we Archie says, try to light it from the top. Yes, I try to do that. The thing is, I have a desk lamp, but if I move it towards me, the light shines into the webcam, and then you don't see anything anymore. So it is really tricky to light this well. Piotrek, let us know when you will come to Poland, because I really want to meet you with my wife. Where you guys live? What's your favorite video game? I guess the game I play the most is Lord of the Rings Online. It's not my favorite game. I like No Man's Sky. I really liked. I like VR games as well. Star Wars Battlefront is cool. Oh, there's so many cool games. I'm hooked on, believe it or not, a Euro Truck Simulator, an American Truck Simulator. That is so much fun. You kind of drive around, and it's pretty realistic, all the maps, and of course it's a smaller version of Europe and the US, but it's so well done. It's very relaxing. Just put on the radio and drive around in my huge truck. It's so much fun. It's not really a game, but it's fun. There we go. I'm not very much of a first-person shooter person, as I explained earlier. Oh, Colin saw Endgame. Very cool. Very cool. If you could choose the director for the next Star Wars movie, who would you choose? I would like to see a Star Wars movie by, what's his name, from New Zealand. The guy who directed Thor Ragnarok. What's his name? You guys know who I'm talking about. Because I would really like to see a movie with the same kind of offbeat humor. I think there is actually room for that, and so that would be definitely something I'd like to see. Yeah, I don't know. There's so many great directors out there. It's hard to choose. Ridley Scott? I don't know. No, he's dead, right? Wait. No, he's not. Is he? James Cameron, perhaps. James Cameron would be cool. I want to know. No, he's not dead. You're crazy. I love Blade Runner. I'm a huge fan of Blade Runner. So I'd like to see something dark in the style of Blade Runner. I don't know. Maybe he's a little bit too dark for Star Wars. Thank you, Claudia. The building is starting to look nice. My Easter was great. Hey, for those of you that are from Poland, are they still doing the thing where you go to the movies and there's this guy narrating stuff? Because that was so interesting to hear that they don't do subtitles. There's also not, they don't dub, but it's, you're watching, you kind of vaguely hear the English, for instance, and then you will have this guy who is in Polish saying, he's narrating the story like that. I thought it was so funny. It's like a really low budget way of telling people what's going on the screen, but at the same time it's incredibly distracting. Is that still the case, or have they started to dub movies? Venica wants to know, in what language do you read books? Most of the time in English, but that isn't because I have an English Kindle account. But I do read faster in Dutch, of course. So I had some trouble getting through the first book of Wheel of Time, and so today I went to the bookstore and I saw that there is actually a Dutch translation of all the books, and started to read the first chapter at the bookstore, and it's like, wow, this is so much easier to read. Okay, I think we're building a classroom here. This is, I think, the classroom for the magical creatures, you know, where they release the pixies, and where at one point Snape is demonstrating the, or not Snape, who is it actually who gives the demonstration of the closet with the thing that comes out of it, that the boggart that represents your greatest fear. I think that's all happening in this classroom that we're currently building. Have you read Ken Follett's Pillars of the Earth, World Without End? No, I haven't yet. I've heard a lot of good things about it. If you read for just 15 minutes a day, you're reading more than 70% of the Americans. Yeah, probably. I really like to hear your knowledge about God and pop culture. Yeah, it's my specialty. America's Puritan heritage. Yes, that definitely is still, has a much bigger role than I knew. It also affects just the type of humor, and I always thought, you know, here our culture is so Americanized, and you kind of assume that then the cultures are very similar, but that is not the case. American culture is very different from European culture. In a way, Canadian culture is closer to European culture than American culture. And that's not, I'm not like saying one is better than the other. It's just it's more different than I thought it would be. Okay. Well, thank you, Jedi Master. I'm honored to be followed by a Jedi Master on YouTube. Natalia is from the UK. Which part of the UK are you from? Jamie says, what is your favorite type of game if it's not FPS? I like RPGs a lot. I like racing. Oh, yeah. I also really like, and I may shock you, I really like Red Dead Redemption. Not the current one because it's too expensive, but I just bought the previous one for the Xbox. And I love how they created that world. I'm not very keen on the violence, but I just like to ride a horse and enjoy the landscape. It's so beautiful. I love open world games, especially if they're beautiful, because it transports you to another world. It is. I dream of an open world Star Wars game, and I know there's a Star Wars MMORPG, but it's not very good. And I'm just dreaming of a Harry Potter MMO. I would subscribe to that in a heartbeat. And hopefully we'll get one. On Youth Day in Poland, we have a priest from Italy, Don Matteo. He lived with us by 1 week. It was a great time. We have contact till today. I was in Krakow as well for World Youth Day. It was a lot of fun. Actually, on the YouTube channel, there should be some videos or some vlogs that I made with my phone, which I rewatched the other day, and it was so badly filmed. I was already working for TV back then, but I don't know, I just didn't know how to do vlogging. In Poland, we have two kinds. We have subtitles and an actor who makes a translation for the kids. Yeah, a Bogart. That was the word that I was looking for. Hey, Kylie. Kylie likes the channel. Well, good to hear that. Red Dead Redemption 2 has a great story. Yeah, I heard that. I'm following, what's his name? Will Wheaton on social media, and he said the same thing. He's like, he's doing his second playthrough now of Red Dead Redemption, and he says it's awesome. So I'll be buying that game when the price goes down. Usually that takes, for Rockstar games, it takes about 3 years for the price to go down. But I have patience. I have such a huge backlog of movies and games. And Lego sets, for that matter. Have I ever been to Krokotopia? No, I've never been there. Did you mention yesterday you have a Steam account? Yes, I have. If you want to follow me on Steam, I am Pixel Priest. One word, Pixel Priest. So you can look that up. I think it's Pixel Priest. Is it Pixel Priest? Let me double check. At least that's kind of usually my screen name for games. Do I have the Steam app on this? Yes, I have. Okay, we're almost there. We're gonna decorate some more. I think it's gonna be just this step, ladies and gentlemen, because it's already getting late. And I can tell that I am getting sleepy. It's always one of the dangers when I go see a long movie. I fall asleep while I'm watching the movie because the theater is dark and the chairs are comfy. We have a very good movie theater with very comfortable chairs. But that didn't happen today because I was so much into the story. I think we're just adding some random thingies. Oh, I need to sign into my Steam account. Well, I'm not going to bother with that. It's always such a pain. I still have an old phone without fingerprint identification, so every time I want to log in, I have to look for my long password, and I need to get another phone. But I've been telling myself that for a year or two. Okay. Oh, 3 of those. Okay. 1. And then 2 of these. Yeah, this is just probably just stuff. Decorative stuff. Like vials and bottles for the classroom. And I think these are holders for the looking glasses. Yeah, that's it. Whoa. This is not fit. There we go. It needs to click, otherwise it's not in place. Pixel Priest is such a great screen name. Yeah. I used to have a podcast that was called like that. Have you ever seen the Star Wars Christmas special? Yes. It is not very good. Chewing gum is a good way to prevent falling asleep in the theater. Huh. I'm not really a chewing gum person, but I may try that out. But then if you fall asleep while chewing gum, you may choke. 1, 2, 3. I have one with a sticker on it of a little dragon skeleton. I guess it's the blackboard or something like that. Okay. We need to have 3 in a row. 1, 2, 3. Then we put in place the skeleton one, and then this one. Excellent. And we will do. Now we get to do the. We get to make these looking glasses. Isn't that cool? You got even lenses, small lenses that you can stick into them. Very nice. Hope they stay put. I think they do. There we go. And we put them here. Number 1. And the second one goes right here. Perfect. I love it. Almost done. I get this arch and 2 of these. Oh, it's just so pretty. One here. The other one there. 6 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Plus 2 of these. The Star Wars Christmas special equates to saying Voldemort's name. Yeah. I Am Amsterdam has been a fan since the early Geek Priest. Are you still running at the moment? Yeah. I'm actually more walking than running because I'm training for the 4-day walking event in July in Nijmegen or Nijmegen. But I hope to run the marathon of Amsterdam again because I enjoyed that last time. And maybe a marathon earlier if I can get ready in time in my own hometown. Downside is those marathons are always on Sundays, which is quite problematic because of the lack of priests and, oh well, don't like to sacrifice, my parishioners to my hobbies. Waiting for a Cyberpunk 2077 Blade Runner game style. There was one Blade Runner adventure game when I was a kid. And it was epic. It was so good. It's no longer available. It's the downside of all the disappearance of the old computers and old operating system. You can't run the games anymore. Okay, I'm going to turn this towards you because I got to work a little bit on the tower. So here you see the room that we've just built with the tables for the students. You see, wait, there seems to be something missing there. No, actually, there's not. You see the looking glasses here and some of the vials, and you see the skeleton there. And even here, underneath my finger, is the cage with some of the pixies flying around there. Very cute. Okay, working on the roof. Do you think Star Wars is better than Lord of the Rings? It's apples and oranges. Apples and oranges. I like Lord of the Rings a lot, obviously. But Star Wars has a special place in my heart because I grew up with Star Wars. Star Wars has been with me all my life. So, yeah, if you made me choose, I'd say Star Wars. Even though, in terms of, storytelling and the entire quality of the narrative, then Lord of the Rings, of course, is far superior. But that's not the same as being enjoyable. Sometimes Tolkien can be very hard to read because there's just so much in it. Like I'm reading the Silmarillion right now, and it takes a lot of patience. But it's deep. It's a world you keep exploring. Okay. I'm continuing the tower, which is starting to look really pretty. Can't wait to build the rest of the towers. I love the towers of this build. This one is stuck. Ouch. Towers are also structurally the hardest ones to build. It's very difficult to make it fit because they do all sorts of tricks here. There we go. Whew. Getting warm. All right, where are we with the chat? What do you think of Dungeons and Dragons? Never played it. I want to try it out. Are you excited for Star Wars? Yes, of course. That's a rhetorical question. Et Thomas, bienvenue, bonsoir, comment ça va? Voilà. And we're going to add some more of these things. 3 of these. It's good to see some people from France lately in the chat and on YouTube. I always thought that they were kind of in their own French-speaking part of the internet. But as you know, I like France. I love the French language, but I always feel like I'm in this English language bubble. That's why I like chatting with you guys, because sometimes I can just switch languages from time to time. Et parler un petit peu en français, sans être obligé de créer un réseau francophone, spécialement pour ceux qui me suivent de France et de Belgique. Alors, voilà. Some windows right there, and okay. This. Some more windows. Okay, what is this? Let's first put that in place. This is what I love doing most. Seeing the outer part of the castle coming together. I mean, the rooms are fun, but it's much more for play, whereas the outside is more architectural, and I love doing Lego architecture. There we go. Everything is in place. Have you tried stop animation? Nah, I'm too lazy for that. Vous parlez français très bien, bravo. Mais bien sûr, j'aime la langue française. De tout cœur. Tu connais la chanson de Yves Duteil? C'est un peu vieux. Yves Duteil est vieux maintenant, mais j'aime beaucoup le chant sur la langue française. Bon, okay. Let's finish the roof. We're almost done. Have you heard about the Witcher book game? Yes. I've played the first Witcher game. Didn't really finish it, but played quite a bit of it. And then, of course, the Witcher 2 I skipped because it was, didn't like the mechanics. And then the Witcher 3, I played part of it, but my graphics card wasn't good enough. So that's still on my to-playlist. It is really amazing. I did read like half a novel, but I didn't really bother too much. I'm waiting for the TV show. Yeah, stop animation, stop motion is so time consuming. Venica, friend, what are you doing? Me, I'm watching a priest build the Lego Hogwarts castle. What? Yeah, it's true. I can confirm. Don't ask. Okay. Getting there. Last 2 steps. Normally after building Lego, I'd go see an episode of Star Trek, but I have finished the 2nd season. So what am I going to watch now? I don't know. I'm open for recommendations, either on Amazon Prime or on Netflix, if you have any tips. All right, chimneys. Because of course, you need to heat this castle. It's in the middle of Scotland, where it can be very chilly. We had some Scottish visitors the other day. That was fun. Lovely Scotland. Thanks to YouTube, I feel like I've gotten to know so many different people everywhere in the world. Oh wow, that's not a chimney, that's a tower. I love it. Sweet. Oh, this is looking awesome. Check it out. Oh, actually you can't see this. I'll show you in a minute. Wow, I love this. Oh, this looks great. It's a bit tricky to get this to fit. However, why is this not working? There you go. All right, now prepare to be stunned. I'm turning this around and I need to up the camera a little bit. There we go. Isn't that cool? I love that. So we built this rooftop, the tower, the chimney. Let me move it this way. And here we have an entrance. We got part of a tower. This will be much taller. And then on the other side, we have the completed classroom up there. It doesn't really tell you how to get there though. Perhaps they'll just use magic. And you've got the sign that the Chamber of Secrets has been opened, and then just a hallway. It's not too decorated. And then of course on the bottom you can see the magical chess room. And in case you haven't seen yesterday's build, here on the right, you see that room? It's the one with the flying keys, and there is a broomstick on the floor. And then here is the room with the mirror of Erised, and surrounded by flames. And on this side is a secret room with plants in it, like these grabby, nasty monster plants. Isn't that cool? Hey Cliff. Hauptwerk says Amazon Prime series Hana is good. That's great. Thanks for the tip. I need to finish watching DS9. Yes, you're absolutely right. That is what I should do. Firefly. Oh yes. Oh my gosh, I love Firefly. I rewatch that every once in a while. So thank you so much for all the suggestions. I'm done with this. For those of you that haven't seen it yet, we built this a long time ago. This is Hagrid's hut. It's got the pumpkins and of course a spider, because Hagrid loves his monsters. And then we have a whole bunch of tiny little inhabitants of the castle here in my hand. These are all students, micro figures. But we'll put them in the castle later on when it's finished. All right, thank you so much for watching. I'll be back tomorrow probably with another phase of the build. It was nice chatting with you. Have a wonderful end of your day. And yes, I am Dutch, Darth Tibidus. I am. Very much so. May the force be with you. Take care now. Bye.